Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Anjali Sharma-Tiwari. I'm currently a sophomore at Basis Independent Silicon Valley, San Jose, and today I'll be presenting my project, Predicting Excess Bond Returns Using Neural Networks. So the first big question is, what are excess bond returns? So let's take a step to define some of these terms. First, excess bond returns is the prediction of bonds using different maturity durations. So they're predicted using the yield curve and the monthly rates and improved upon forward rates. So the main thing for predicting these prices is the yield curve, and the yield curve can then use current market estimates, and it can be used to compute the bond prices. So why are we looking at bond prices now, and why does it even matter? Well, recent advancements in the field of econometrics and statistics have spurred interest in dimensionality reduction and model selection techniques, as well as predictive models. Okay, pardon. Over the last 2 decades, however, the use of such methods in financial economics literatures has been most satisfactorily limited to data compression techniques such as principal component and latent factor analysis. So how does my approach differ? Well, neural networks allow for complex nonlinear combinations of forward rates and the 128 macroeconomic factors of the economy. The use of machine learning can potentially improve upon existing work and lead to better predictions, but it comes at the cost. The cost is that using neural networks has a lack of visibility into the actual functioning of the neural networks and what connections are being made. This is because neural networks make connections between factors, but there is no clear relationship defined. So prior work in this field includes data compression using PCA, latent factors, random forest, and regression trees. And these all give very distinct correlations between factors and prices. So in my methodology, I used these 2 primary input data points, which were a set of yield curves, monthly and daily, from 1961 to current date, as well as the 128 macroeconomic indicators. So for yield curve data, this is the data, and it is comprised of 0 coupon bond interest rates from 1961 to December of 2023. And for every month, the data represents the interest rates and bonds issued from maturity of 1 month to 30 years. The different set of macroeconomic factors play different roles in short run duration versus long run duration bonds. So as you can see, with 2-year maturity, in the shorter duration, the consumer confidence factors such as stock market and hourly earning rates play a bigger role in short run because we're looking mostly for consumer confidence, and as stock markets play a bigger role in the short run. Then in the 10-year maturity rate, the 128 macroeconomic factors affecting the economy would be including the civilian unemployment rate and CPI, as well as commercial and industrial loans. The bond prices affected are mostly about the interest rates and how they're affected by the expectations of the economy's performance. So the forward rate, what is it? Well, the forward rate is essentially the interest rate on a loan or asset that takes place in the future, but it is priced based on expectations as today. So the formula rate that we used was of the following, and we used it to calculate 2 0 coupon bonds whose maturities were different between time periods. And that was what we used comparing everything in sets of 2. So in terms of the inputs for the neural network, using just macroeconomic factors or just forward rates only gave us slight improvements when compared to the traditional methods of regression, of random forest or regression. But these small improvements aren't really that impactful. So we decided to combine macroeconomic factors and forward rates as both of the inputs for the neural network. And this gave us more accurate predictions than the traditional model, but there's still the cost of not knowing exactly what those correlations are. So preliminary, so using the PCA of the 10-year and the 2-year maturities, with the economic factors being more dependent on short run for the 2-year and long run for the 10-year, we got the XP and the REC, which are the expansionary and recessionary time periods. And we found that the model is more confident in recessionary periods because it seems that it's able to detect more prominent patterns in recession, as in terms of the factors being more consistent during the recessionary periods, while expansionary periods could have many different factors that factor into it being expansionary. Now, for the model statistics and future work, so we had a set of hyperparameters, which for the number of layers, which would be either the macroeconomic factors or the forward rates. And forward rates only. So the nodes per group were 1, 2, and 3 because you have macroeconomic factors, just forward rates, or them together. And we used a dropout rate for the group using 10%, 30%, and 50%, and the forward rate being 0 and 30%. And the combinations, as you can see, are like far greater using both forward rate and macroeconomic rate than just the forward rate alone. And in terms of future rate, in terms of future work, I would like to include more variations such as dropout rates and more layers, because this would allow for more variability and closer to real life examples so that this model can be more accurate. So some key references were this paper that introduced the idea of macroeconomic factors and interest rates, and forward rates being factors for the bond prices, as well as the data for both of those. Thank you so much for listening, and I really enjoyed this.
Thanks so much. I'm a little bit curious, what microeconomic factors did you find to be most important in predicting returns?
Yeah, so in terms of short run, I felt that consumer confidence based on the stock market was really important, as well as immediate responses to whether the tech industry was booming or whether the different industries that were currently being the biggest, because that really directly affects to which stock would go up. And in terms of long run, you have the overall expectation of whether interest rates are going to go up, more investment rates, and whether businesses are going to be contractionary or expansionary in terms of whether they're hiring more or hiring less.
Got it. Great. Thank you so much.